Hey everybody, Ken Plume here with another edition of Force 5, where I ask a very special guest to come on and share their top 5 Star Wars action figures across any era, any scale, their choice. I'm not picky. There are no real rules to this. They're all arbitrary. I make them up. Speaking of make 'em ups, my
Nice,
guest
very nice.
is a performer extraordinaire, a brilliant person, actor,
Well,
craftsman of the craft of acting and performance,
and
Bobby
woodworking.
Moynihan. I
Hello.
could continue to build you up
Please do. Please, I need it.
because you are one of the most brilliant, wonderful people that I know.
It's true.
And thank you. I'm glad that it was seconded because I was worried for a little bit that it was just on me that I was making an assumption on
Yeah,
this. But
no, I agree. I
thank you,
wholeheartedly agree.
thank you for coming on the show
Thank you for having me to your toy store.
to talk anything. It's going to be a great estate sale.
Yeah.
Do you want me to put post-its on anything? Uh,
Please, everything.
it's all yours. Just get the U-Haul. Just drive it on up. Say I sent you. It's gonna be really
Thank you.
super awkward.
I
But
appreciate it.
so let's start a little bit with sort of your history, your sort of journey when it comes just to collecting, toy collecting. What as a kid, what was the first thing that struck your fancy as something you
Uh,
really wanted to own and play with and sought out?
Definitely, like, I remember the Star Wars Kenner, like, the Star Wars Kenner original line was, like, the be all end all for me. Like GI Joe, I grew up in that. Like I was born in '77, grew up in the '80s. Like those 3.75-inch action figures. That was my whole deal for a super long time. Still is. I have a bunch downstairs. I wish I could have done this in my office, but because it looks like your office, but
I
instead
have
instead
seen
I'm in a
Bobby's
fake
office.
sound booth in a closet.
And no, this is good. This plays into the
Yeah,
whole narrative of you being super professional, a gadfly of the industry,
yeah.
forever working. This is just a break. People don't know this is a break
I'm a
between gigs for you.
I'm a Josh Gadfly of the
Yeah,
industry.
we can all aspire to something.
Yes. I mean, I'm pretty close.
We are the exact same era and age, so we had many similar experiences. Do you remember what your first Kenner Star Wars action figure was?
I think it was a stormtrooper. I got it at Woolworths.
Because you're a
I
Northeastern boy.
yeah. It was the best. Yeah, I loved those. That whole line was the greatest. I just remember getting the packaging, like getting the like I loved everything about it, and like as a kid too, it was like I don't know if you had Caldors near you.
See, my family comes from Long Island, so I know Keldors. I know the
There you go.
experience of walking through a Keldors.
Yeah, so like we would just get the Caldors catalog, and like in August, I would start circling what I wanted and then just stare at that catalog until December and get like two of them.
Well, you had dreams in your head,
Yes.
and there were realities outside of that.
My first job was at a used toy, like literally a used toy store across the street from my house. And it was like, I was like, what? Even as a child, like I couldn't believe it. And I somehow convinced her to let me start working there for not money, but for toys. So I would like work for $5 an hour, but I would just get that all in store credit. And I would just tell her that I was like, this GI Joe's worth nothing. It was terrible. I was a scam artist when I was a child. It was
To be
terrible.
fair, she was getting labor out of you for
Oh, it was
toys.
fully illegal, and like I'm pretty sure it smelled like weed, and I didn't know what weed was.
So it
But I don't
started
know.
you down so many paths.
Yeah, exactly, correct. Why? What other paths are you speaking?
Everyone go watch Lofi. So I mean, do you remember what toys that you got out of that gig, out of that stint?
Oh yeah, a lot of GI Joes. Like GI Joe was like I had one GI Joe. I had Storm Shadow, and like I was like that was the I couldn't believe it. And then like when I worked at that toy store, like that's when I started getting all the other ones and filling in the other ones. And then I remember like a big day where I saved up a bunch of money for the GI Joe Hovercraft, and it
Oh,
was it was gone. Like somebody had bought it the day before, and so I bought something real stupid, like something. It was like I'm no joke. It was a walking robot that when you put lighter fluid in it, it would walk around and make sparks fly out of its mouth, and it would say, "I am the atomic-powered robot. Please give my best wishes to everybody."
They
And
smell like weed, huh?
that's what I bought instead. I can't believe I still remember that.
And you haven't found this thing on eBay yet?
The robot? No,
Yeah.
I guess I never even thought of looking for it until you said it, and now that's all I'm going to do tonight. So thanks.
eBay knows you. They know you're coming
Oh,
back.
uh,
So,
too well.
and it does seem like, for a lot of us of our generation, that GI Joe was like the next step toy drug when it came to when we were old enough to then realize and actively start seeking things out with a presence of mind. Like, emotional connection is Star Wars, because that was like the first thing of our generation. But
Mhm.
then we were old enough, and then it was GI Joes.
Yeah, Thundercats, like He-Man, like I that whole generation, anything Filmation, like those original Filmation Ghostbuster toys, and like I love that stuff. And like as I started collecting and stuff, I find now that I enjoy like the animated versions of things, and like the newer lines that like Super 7 and like the Super 7
Those
Ultimates, and like
reactions and
the reactions are fantastic. I got a bunch of those, and like the Ultimates, like just the GI Joe one, all of them, they're fantastic, and all
so
the
you like some
Thundercats.
stylization to your
I do. Like, yeah, I do. I guess I'm
uh
finding.
so I think we should launch into your number 5 choice. So was it difficult for you to rank your choices? Because you had
I,
to make an
I'm
emotional ranking of these from
I
5
am
to 1.
gonna be completely honest with you, Ken, and with myself. I couldn't, if I thought about it for a super long time, I never would have done this.
What was the difficulty in
Well,
doing this?
there's so many. I mean, there's so many. I just went like that, and that. I love these, and I just grabbed that stuff, and I grabbed some fun stuff because I just went like. I think they each represents and you'll see.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's go with your number 5. Let's see. Let's start this journey together and we'll see what your number 5 is.
I went with a newer one on this one, but I really like. Oh, I just broke everything. No, I'm just kidding. I really like the Black Series figures. I think they're fantastic, but this one in particular, it's extremely new.
Oh, that is the new Endor Leia.
But I think it's one of the I love Leia figures. I think Leia is easily the best and my most favorite character in Star Wars. And this figure alone is my favorite. Yeah, I think this is my
It's a great
favorite Leia
likeness.
figure that they've made. Yeah, it's also like Jedi was. I think that was my thing growing. Like I think Jedi was maybe the first movie I saw in the theaters, and like yeah, that was my. I like that one.
And you've played Princess Leia before. People may not remember
Correct.
that you
Yeah.
have played Princess Leia.
Yeah. A couple times.
Well, I have the speaking of that Jedi
Yeah.
Leia,
Very nice.
which people pick up this figure and don't even realize that it's 2 figures in one, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you can take the poncho off and actually take the helmet off and make her like the briefing room Leia.
Now, do you have the problem that I have, where because you know that now, you'll buy a second one?
So I haven't done it yet,
Oh, I have that problem.
but yes, no. If there's multiple display options, I don't want to have to change it up every time.
Yeah, we're prime targets, you and me.
Yeah, no. I like how they think like they're being clever. Like, oh look, it's multi-use. You get 2 figures in one. It's like, no, I got 2 figures in 2. But thank you for the accessories that are going to be packed away on one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Really appreciate it.
I'm the sucker that gets the second one.
Now, are you an out-of-box collector? Are you a display loose?
I'm a weird collector. I have found. I don't think I have. Now that I've done some research and like, I tried to pitch a show about collecting. I think I talked to you about it.
Yeah.
Called Adult Collectors. I was trying to pitch a TV show about it just because I find it all fascinating. I think I am just a like impulsive collect. Like I think like I just go like, "Ooh, I like this," and then all of a sudden I collect it, and then like a month later I'm like, "Okay, I gotta stop." And, like,
But by that
but
point, you had bought everything.
well, no, I mean like, yeah. No. I definitely made up for not having the toys I did wanted in childhood. But as far as like box or inbox, like that doesn't bother me. But I have like some that I like some stuff where I just love the packaging, so I keep it in the box. Or uh, you know, I have a bunch of the original Kenner Star Wars in the box. Like I like collecting them in the box and out of the box. But like I don't have a preference.
But you're not
I
like a
have a
value.
bunch of
You're
like
not an investment
signed stuff.
collector. You're not getting those in box. I'm never going to open these because it cost this much money or it's worth this much. You
I'm
just
not
like the
a
aesthetics out of it.
I'm not a smart collector. I just want a room in my house that looks like a comic book store that I could go relax in. I'm a simple man.
I mean, you've achieved it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Well, I'm on my way.
we've bonded in a lot of different ways when it
Yeah,
comes to the aesthetic of how much can we cram in a room.
correct. Absolutely correct.
How often have you said, but it's
Now, can I
curious?
ask you a question? Can I ask you a
Yes.
serious question?
Yeah.
Did you grow up in a environment that was like your background, like or did you like have any kind of place where like you were around a place that was like every spot was used with something, not
No.
necessarily like hoarder, but
No.
like set up like that? Because
No.
I did, and
I
I
mean,
think that's where it comes from.
I mean, I think there's a side of my family that borders on hoarding, but it was not my mother was very, very organized and the sort of run a vacuum every day sort of
Gotcha.
grown up. So there was an active make sure if you have things, they have to be in their place. Was
Got it.
very much. So it's not piles and piles of things. It's like everything is properly sorted and in a place. There's archaeological layers to it, but it's not just slapdash. Like to me, there is a setting. There is a place where things go, but
Yeah,
they're
the order
not.
of it, yeah, and the placement, the placing everything is part of it.
Yeah, yeah, and it also it does annoy me and gnaw on me if I do have a pile somewhere that hasn't been placed and sorted. Like that has to be
Yeah, well,
dealt
that's
with.
been for 45 years for me, for
Well,
me
because
at
new
least.
stuff just keeps coming.
Yeah.
We're our own worst enemies when it comes to this.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, have you ever reached like a point of purging?
I'm there. Well, I'm now that we bought a house and like I know where I'm gonna be. I know where I'm gonna be staying for a while. I am finally able to start like going like, okay, I'm gonna start displaying stuff where I want it, and a lot of stuff that I have collected, I'm going like, oh, I don't necessarily need this, or I don't need to see this every day, so maybe I can sell this and put my daughter through college.
Yeah, I don't
No.
need that get along gang set.
Oh no, see that I would keep. Are you kidding? That what are you talking about?
Well, you got the caboose and everything.
I
Get rid of that.
definitely do somewhere. Isn't that awful? I
No,
definitely
no.
do.
Again,
Definitely
same
do.
generation. We're all
Mortimer
hunting the same
Moose,
things.
right? Mortimer Moose.
I think it was Mortimer Moose. I always
Oh boy.
because I thought I would connect him to when I found out the nickname of Christine on You Can't Do That on Television was Moose, and then I conflate the two Meese because that's how my pop culture brain works. So let's go to your number 4 choice.
um,
So we start out with a modern figure with
God, I
the
have so
celebration Endor Leia. You're
okay.
having to make judgment calls in the moment. I can tell.
Well, I really did. I just grabbed like 10 things that I just went like these. I could show this and this and this,
And
but like I mean
after we
it.
talk, there are honorable mentions, so
Yeah,
none will be left out.
I am now realizing I made grave mistakes. I should have just gone. I should have done more research. I'll show you this one next, just because I'm a sucker for it. And it makes me laugh still. I love anything naked C-3PO. I love anything where C-3PO is from Phantom Menace. It's my favorite figure. I don't know why. I love it.
Well, I mean, he's just so out of sorts.
It is. It just I don't know if it was because I enjoy it. I just think it's fantastic. In and also in the like of all the kinds you can get.
Get like the barest bones.
Yeah,
It makes me
it's very
want to
funny to
get
me.
a Anthony Daniels figure looking consternated, have it with rods attached to that figure,
Oh, I'm sure
puppeteering it.
someone makes that. I'm sure, and if they don't, they will now. I'm
It's on
sure.
Anthony Daniels shop. Go
I've
check.
seen like Jeremy Bullock ones and like a whole bunch with like the people inside. Peter Mayhew,
Oh,
like
there's a creator on YouTube. If you check him out, Mighty Jabba's Palace. He just collects Jabba and Jabba related items,
oh,
but he
I
also
love that.
does 3D printing. And he made a Jabba the Hutt figure using the original Kenner Jabba the Hutt, but put the internal actors, the performers inside, so you can pull them apart and
Amazing.
see the performers
Oh,
inside of the Jabba
oh,
figure.
I'm get that, and I just yeah, that's gonna be bought tonight. That's terrible. Oh no.
Really, this is just turning into a shopping conversation.
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much.
So then, what is your number 3 choice?
I'm gonna go with this. One of my favorite figures of all time, and I love him, and everyone else should. Is the Rancor Keeper.
Such just the emotion of Malakili.
That little belly.
He,
If
he
you
was the
look
first heavy
closely,
set figure we ever got
oh yeah,
in the Star Wars line.
representation. Finally, look at it. If you look at his face, it is a Bobby Moynihan action figure. It just looks like me, like season 2 of SNL with shave.
Why haven't you put a little beard on it?
You don't think I don't have any of those?
You must have dozens of Malakilis just sitting around.
I probably do somewhere.
You could probably buy up all the Malakilis and craft him into each of the roles you've played over the years.
I have. Well, you'll see. I'll get there.
Although he does look like he could be a drunk uncle.
Yeah, right.
Figure.
It definitely. Oh, yeah. All you have
Without
to do is put
changing a thing. It's just like a wild night.
Just a members only jacket away.
Well, that's draped over his. That's what's on his head. That's what the cloth is on his head. Is the members put the insignia on it? It's the members only jacket on Malakili. So is that how many of the original line of Kenner figures do you have in the packaging in your collection?
A bunch. The like, yeah.
Now, do you actively seek out, or are you just like I run across it at Comic-Con and I'm like, oh, I'll get that.
I'm gonna tell a story I shouldn't tell. There was a weird period in like I'm guessing it was probably like 2009, 2010, like right after I got SNL, when like I really started dipping my toe into collecting on eBay because like I was finally making a little bit of money, and I kind of noticed something was that if you typed divorce and Star Wars into eBay together, that you would find people who didn't know what they had. Who were just like, I'm getting divorced and I'm selling all this stuff.
They love this thing.
And I ended up finding like one person was like, here's 20 figures for $200. They're like, and like I was just like, I'll take it. And I think it was like almost the entire original line of Kenner figures for $200. And I was just like, oh, and that's kind of what started it too, was also that feeling of like, oh boy, I think I just
like there's right now
I just stumbled upon something.
Some sad middle-aged person who has been through eBay trying to rebuy every one of those figures.
Yeah. And
but which ones?
She's
but which
divorced.
Ones did you
She's
score?
already had a terrible life.
Which ones did you score?
It was like Leia, Vader, R2D2, a Stormtrooper, Obi-Wan, and I remember there was a Han with the trench coat and a Han in the trench coat with the coin and like the
power of the Force, like
the 3 logo thing. Yeah, and then there was a Gamorrean like it was just like there was like 20 figures or something, and it was all just from down the line, and that's one of them was this one.
I mean, you just got SNL. You got that package in the mail. Everything's coming up Bobby at that point.
Yeah, it's been straight shot uphill since then.
What is the thing that you spent the most money on? You don't have to tell me how much, but the thing that sticks out in your mind is like, oh, I really took a swing to get that
Uh,
thing.
I'm pretty good. I'm not too crazy. I'm not. I could be a lot worse, but I am
Well, you do spend your money in other ways that
that's
we.
true. That's true. But I could be a lot worse. I do. I did buy a Gonzo. I had a Gonzo made, like a professional Gonzo Muppet.
That's an investment. That's an emotional
Yeah.
investment.
Well, yeah. I toured with the Muppets, and I had always wanted one, and I went, you know what? I'm going to take a little portion of this and make little Bobby happy. And I did, and it was great, and I love it. It's like my favorite thing in the world.
So is that the? I mean, what's the? Is there any purchase that you've regretted?
Yeah, I well regret it in the sense of like I fumbled the whole thing, but it started off for charity, so but it ended poorly. Um, uh, I there's an organization. Cancer Gets Lost. I'm a big Lost fan, and there's an organization called Cancer Gets Lost, and they do like an auction where they auction off lost props or memorabilia from Lost, and it goes to charity. So I was like, oh, I'll get something nice, and I decided to get the fish biscuit machine from Lost. I don't know if you're a Lost fan.
That's not small.
No, it's 9 feet tall, and they shipped it from Hawaii to New York City, and it was a nightmare. It was a complete and total nightmare. It was in my living room for like almost a year, and then now it's still in a storage unit in New York because I moved right before the pandemic and was like, well, I'll just take it out of storage in a month and send it to California, and now it's been 3 years.
I mean, you're living separate lives at this point.
Yeah, it's
What is the future of it? Because now you
uh,
actually at the anniversary of Lost.
mm-hmm. We're gonna set it on fire. No, no. I get it back in October. I'm taking. I have already made plans to get it sent over here in October after almost
Oh,
4
I thought
years.
this was like a documentary series. I thought you were
I
gonna
should have.
actually
I wish I had filmed it.
well, the installation of it. Do you have a place picked out for where it's going to go? Is this going to be a centerpiece in the garden?
My daughter's room.
Oh, so much therapy
Yeah,
building so
exactly,
early.
exactly,
You
exactly.
remember when you put your collectibles in my room because you ran out of space? I thought you grew to love them. Like I grew to love you. Work that out.
Oh, she loves it. I keep it. I'm good. I've reined it in. I've reined it in a lot.
So, I mean, how much overflow would you say you have? Is there stuff that still remains in storage that you haven't seen in quite a while?
Um, yes, in New York, but yes, some stuff in there, but not here, not at home. No, now it's all been sorted through and finally where it should be.
Yeah, because while we were talking there, and you were still in the process of hanging things up, and
Oh, I'm like 60% of the way through that.
so
Okay, I'm
getting there.
getting there. Yeah, getting there.
So eventually,
Yeah,
and then you open the museum, like
yeah, correct.
the Acker
Yeah.
Mansion, the
And then
Forrest Ackerman.
I drop dead the second it's done.
But then you're part of the collection, so
Yes,
it all works
exactly.
out.
Yeah.
That's where people put the tips to keep it open. So, what is your number two choice? Because now you're having to make a judgment call in this moment, and we're making absolutely clear this is just in this moment. It changes immediately after this.
I think I'm just going to keep going, and then I'm just going to show you all the rest that I have, no matter what. I'm going to go with this. See, wait, you know what? I'm not. I'm gonna go with because I'm gonna go this with the silly one that I just grabbed because I went like I bought this immediately when I saw it. This is one of the best figures. I mean, like it's the most like I don't know if I've ever wanted any. This is my cosplay for the rest of my life.
How has that not been your Halloween costume at
I,
least
I mean,
once?
it's my life costume. I feel like I just love him. I love
So
him. I
that's a,
love. I
a
love Pete Boba Fett. That really made that. This one really got me.
so that's a Disney Parks exclusive,
Yeah, I
and there's a
forget
whole
who got
set
it
of
for me.
those. Because what? It's Donald is Han Solo, right? Mickey is Luke.
There's a bunch. There's this one too. There's this one is another one of my favorites from that line. Anything Gonzo I love, but Gonzo Darth Vader is just
To finally have
cream
a
of the
proper
crop.
Darth Nader figure.
Yeah, it doesn't get better than that. It's 2022 and we're all gonna live forever.
It took it long enough for it to
Yeah,
finally
exactly.
come up positive.
Yeah.
Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Okay. So, so you sound like you just had a difficulty in choosing what was going to be your number one then.
Well, because I actually like all of these are figures that I have. I could keep going. I could show you a million other ones I love, but this one is actually truly just my favorite Star Wars figure of all time.
Okay.
This one is just real. Like when you said, like I was like, well, this one's my first. This one I just grabbed. This is the first thing I thought of. The first thing I grabbed is Max Rebo in his thing because it's the best. It's the best one they ever made.
It is. I
And
don't
the keys work. I love his body, his diaper. I love everything about it. It's the best.
look
And I even when it was
right on my
yeah, it's
desk.
fantastic. Yeah, it's the best. Um, it also for like a figure made in the '80s, like that, like it's so beautiful. It's great. It looks
Well,
so
I mean,
much like it.
people. I don't know if you have been collecting the retro collection figures.
Definitely have.
So and they've been doing modern interpretations. I love the fact that they did. Well, what if you actually if they had updated the Darth Vader figure at any point in that line?
They did. This is it. It's got the red eyes. It's the one from Obi-Wan, and like
Right.
this
But because
particular
in the
figure, I
classic
love a
Kenner
great deal.
line, we both know they never updated the Vader figure as
Yeah,
far as, that sculpt remained the same throughout.
yeah, it never changed.
But what I love about that figure is that it's like, okay, what if they did tweak it a little bit to go, well, let's give it a cloth cape like we were giving other figures at that time. But I think
I love the
people
cloth cape. I love the red eyes on it.
underestimate how much better the sculpts for those Kenner figures were getting towards the end. Like that Jabba figure, I think is still a great Jabba sculpt.
Oh yeah, too. I would have grabbed that immediately if I had it. If I had done more research.
But yeah, the Max and the fact that his keys work on that keyboard.
Exactly, exactly. And I think it's been proven that the body is completely wrong.
Again, it's one of those things. So yes, according to if you look at the original maquette and what the intention of Phil Tippett was, these
Were the
are
feet?
supposed to be his feet playing the organ.
Yeah.
These are supposed to be his hand flippers. But Kenner was just provided with a guy at a keyboard and thought, well, he's got to have legs, and we can't
And they
just
just made diaper body, and that's why I love it.
give him a little diaper.
It's just the bottom half of the Rancor Keeper figure.
So I guess it's Schrodinger's Rebo. It's however you want it to be in the emotional moment,
exactly.
but it kind of has to be diaper Max, right?
I think so.
He's got to get to the gig. How else is he going to get to the gig? He can't just flop to the gig.
There's no bathroom in Jabba's palace.
I think the organ probably is. I don't think he ever.
I like to think it flies. I like to think it flies.
Oh, like a little hover.
Yeah, I like to think he just takes off.
Is that how he escaped the sail barge?
I think so. And I'm willing to star in this movie, by the way.
And he left his bandmates behind, right? Is that he totally just abandoned his bandmates?
Size Noodles and the guy with a butthole for a face?
Yeah, Droopy.
Yeah.
He just left them behind.
I knew his name.
No, I'm for everyone else. I know you knew his name. But that's also how Max would refer to him.
Is that true? I don't know. Like, does he have an attitude? I'm not familiar with like him.
There's obviously a really healthy band scene on Tatooine. There's a lot of competing bands looking for gigs.
I'm in a Star Wars band.
You are on Tatooine.
I can't believe it. That's still one of my. Well, I'll start with that right now if you want to see that.
Yes.
That just got this recently, and this is one of my favorites. Well, I mean, like, it's one of my favorites because I just can't believe it, but I just got this recently.
I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Now, is that because I know they've been releasing those as figures? Is that an official or is that a custom that you found
No,
out?
this is a custom. There's a.
I mean, it's the custom scene right now is that was not throwing shade on customs, but that is incredible.
Yeah, it's got his little guitar. Yeah. There's a little company I work with. I did some work with on a cartoon called the 3D Panda. You should check them out. They're fantastic. And they made the whole band for me. But this is him, and I can't believe it. Like I go like, yeah, I'm Jabba the Hutt's cousin. I'm in a band, and Boba Fett's after me, and that's bonkers.
And you could have at one point played a gig with Max Rebo.
That's crazy? I never really thought of that. That's bonkers.
So now that should be next to Max Rebo in your display is like a super band.
It will be now. It will be. Like now I have like I just got this, which is I was on Bad Batch, and this was the character I played on Bad Batch. Somebody like this same company, 3D Panda, made like a old Kenner style version of the character for me, and like I was like, oh, it's the best.
I mean, really, it's just the Moynihan collection at this point.
Well, the last couple ones are, yeah.
Because you've done what now? It's almost a half dozen characters in the various shows.
I think so. I have almost all of them up here. I don't. There's a couple that are still downstairs that I didn't grab out of the case in time. But I was this guy on Resistance, and I got one of him made. They made it for me. They made this as well.
Your two main Resistance characters.
Yeah, Orca, and that was Yanni. And then this was, I mean, this is my favorite Stormtrooper they make, but I was also a Stormtrooper on Resistance. But like, this is the only, like, technically,
I mean, yeah,
this is my Star Wars action.
I mean, then you know, with that logic, they have also made a Bobby Moynihan as George Lucas figure in a Stormtrooper disguise.
I see that. It does just like look like my future.
If you put the glasses on there,
yeah, exactly.
with those round glasses. So yeah, no, I think you have an official. Everyone, go pick up your Bobby Moynihan figures.
I got. They made these. I love this one.
I mean, that's just the custom scene out. So that's been the slipperyest slope. I don't know if you will agree, but knowing what's out there and that anything really now is possible. Any character. Because in the past it was, oh, they never produce this. I guess we'll never see that unless they do.
Yeah.
Now it's no. I want that thing. Somebody out there either has already done it or could be commissioned to do it.
Yeah, it's dangerous. It's dangerous because then it starts getting fun. Because I like different stylistic things. So like if somebody makes them in a different way, I'm like, oh, I gotta get that one too. But
yeah, I saw some of those were retro style. Some of those are accurate to the screen.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the I'm a dad thing only lasts so long before you just go. But I'm a dad who collects.
Yeah, but I also got like it's becoming a dad. It changed everything as far as collecting. Like it doesn't. It was like what was passing my time, and now not. And I don't want to say it seems silly. like because like you know but like whatever but it does a little bit like I go like oh I don't need to do this that much anymore like I will keep the things I love and then like a lot of it was just the hunt for me and like now I'm
which
like
honestly eBay was the best worst thing that happened to our generation.
Oh, easily.
When it came to the hunt.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, one of the first things I did was go and buy the Gilligan figure that my preschool teacher took away from me and never gave back because I dared to bring my favorite toy to preschool with me.
Yeah. I definitely bought a purple Pie Man once just because I remember losing it at a playground. I think so. What's that his name? The Purple Pie Man from Strawberry Shortcake? My sister gave it to me.
Yeah, he lived on Porcupine Peak.
Oh, there you go. My sister gave it to me. I just remember loving the figure, and I lost it and cried for days. And then, like 8 months ago, I saw one, and I was like, "I'm getting that."
That was the same with me in the
Don't need
McDonald
it.
Land Grimace figure.
Don't need it. Oh yeah, I had collected like, or like I think on eBay, like spent $50 and they sent me like 500 Happy Meal toys or something. But I did it for a sketch show that I was doing at UCB, and somewhere in the basement of UCB in New York is just a Christmas tree box filled with Happy Meal toys because we would just throw them like we used them for props in a show. And now they're probably worth like thousands of dollars now.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure there are ones you would probably want out of that box too.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and there's I did have it handy
Oh, amazing! There you go.
from the 70s. Was it? I think it was Filmation.
Yeah.
The Gilligans
Well, there
Island
was
and
like
Planet cartoon.
there was like a bathtub toy set. I feel like
Yeah, it was a floating island,
yeah.
and you had the red boat, the minnow that came with it, and it had a hut and a tree for Gilligan to hide in because Skipper was abusive and he needed a place to hide in your bath toy floaty island.
Or he would get hit with a hat.
By there's
He would get hit with his own hat.
Yeah, he was the villain on the island for poor Gilligan. And then the only other figure that came with it of what, 7 castaways was Marianne.
Of course. Well, that's who I would hope it would be, right?
And she kept to herself on her own side of the floaty island and didn't bother with their shenanigans.
And they never made the others. They never. See,
No. That's prime for someone out there to sculpt.
Oh yeah, come on!
The other 4 castaways, because we need the millionaire, we need Lovey, we need both of them.
I want a couple guest stars too.
Yeah, no, I want the gorilla. I need a gorilla in that style. I need a downed fighter pilot.
Yeah.
I need that satellite that crashed in the Escape from Gilligan's Island. Yeah, I want all the accessories.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I want a couple of huts that I can lash together so they can float when the hurricane comes. Yeah, there's a lot of things that we need. What other so before you get to any other honorable mentions, I will ask this.
I think that might be all. I burnt through the last ones pretty fast.
So I'll ask this question. You obviously, with the world of customs, this is not as big a thing now. But is there any holy grail that you have not gotten or they've never produced that you would love to have in your collection?
From anything, anywhere, or Star Wars specifically?
Let's do both.
I feel like after having this conversation too now, it's that G.I. Joe Hovercraft, that thing I never bought. I always keep looking for, but it's the thing I go like someday. But I got to scratch that itch really soon because that's like the one from my childhood.
And
that
you have a pole
like...
now, right? You can properly use that thing.
now that you said that, I'm getting it tonight. Yeah. But like, no, I'm like with the customs, it's crazy because like you can do anything. But as far as like stuff that's produced, like that itch has been scratched. Like I think because of the custom stuff, like it's like there was like a couple things I was still holding on to. Like I finally collected all the Bionic 6 figures like that I loved when I was like but like all that stuff, it was just fun. It was more just something to do. And now I have too much to do. And I go like, now I just want to sit there and like do yoga in the room where all this stuff is and try and get
the energy's good there.
Yeah, well, all I've ever wanted to do is sit in a room and look at all the things I like. And that's it. That's been the goal the whole time.
So you finally reached your state of Zen.
Somewhat. I'm on my way there, yeah. I think so.
So are you starting to see the collecting bug begin to hit with your child? Start to embrace things or start to
yeah she just got into Care Bears and like that kind of like I gotta collect them all. They all have different but 2 of them came with collector coins and she was like, why don't they all come with collector coins? Like got like upset about that. And I thought like, oh, there's your father.
Genetics are real.
Yeah.
Well, I'll share a couple of things real quick, just because they've been recent acquisitions. Speaking of, and if anyone's seen, I do some TikTok, so they put out the spotlight some of these things. But I love the era of Star Wars figures just putting out any old character in the late
Hmm.
90s and early to mid 2000s. And I love the fact that in what was still then ostensibly a children's line, we got the surly bartender Wooher from the cantina
Yeah.
who comes with his highly discriminatory droid scanner as an accessory and a cup featuring a drink he'll never pour for you because he doesn't serve your kind there. And it's one of the Comtech chip ones, so it comes with him saying all of his surly lines to you as you play.
Oh
This
my
is
gosh. I know I have that player somewhere too. I gotta.
this is one of the greatest, yeah, sure, action figures you could possibly get. And the
But
fact
I
that,
feel like there's even more obscure. Like he has a name. Like
oh,
you know what I mean? Like there's some like Prune Face is still one of my
I know,
favorites
but
from the original.
he's giving you side eye on the package. It
he's
is,
an
it,
he's Star Wars' asshole. He's a
yeah,
racist asshole.
yeah. And the fact that this is also the line that has smug Chewbacca playing hollow chess is just,
Chewbacca. They're selling you a figure of a figure in a position that you can do with any other figure before it.
that
All you have to do
is,
is put his arms up, and it's
yeah.
that figure. It's the best. God love him. God love
So,
Lucasfilm.
so it really is the greatest era of Star Wars figures. And I do want to, speaking of Jabba's, because I finally picked one of these up and I hadn't been able to find one prior. I got a Black Series Jabba the Hutt.
Nice.
And what's great about
Interesting.
this is it has the little feature, which means that now I have filled so much social media with doing talking Jabba videos. And then I found out the only voice for Jabba that I can do is essentially him as a Tennessee Williams character.
As that's all we need to hear.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Jabba.
He does need a fan and an iced tea.
Oh, well, then woo her. We'll hook
Yeah.
him up with that.
Yes.
I mean, it's such a weird action figure feature that it's not even really
It's
working that well, but
it's
it
bizarre. It's bizarre looking a little. I
but
like the one that from Clone, the one that they made from Clone Wars,
the super
maybe.
stylized one that
Yeah,
really
I
I
really like
love
that
the
one.
design on that one.
Yeah,
Because he's got attitude. Like he
yeah,
like he's passing. I love figures that pass judgment on me. I want to look
correct.
around and see little pieces of plastic that are actively judging me all of the time.
Yeah,
It's all
just
I've ever wanted for my collections.
it's just a mirror.
So, as far as what I hope everyone will do is, who's watching this, because I'm gonna talk you up a little bit more. Is that there are some wonderful animated series that you've produced in recent
Oh, thank
years
you. Yeah,
that people can check out and should. So
yeah.
not only Lofi, which is hilarious and weird and weirdly hilarious, which you can check out still on YouTube, right? Are there all the
Yep.
episodes still up on YouTube?
Yeah, 8 episodes on YouTube. Same thing with Lightning Wolf.
And yeah, Lightning Wolves. Where's the? Do you have the action figure line for Lightning Wolves
I
already?
do. I have all the ones from Lightning Wolves, and then I got all the villains made too. Yeah,
Okay,
they're
just
downstairs.
need to make sure people check
Yeah,
that out.
that was kind of the main reason I did it.
At some point you have to make these available to other people as well. It can't
You
just
can
be
get them. You can get them on Etsy at the 3D Panda. You can get the
well.
Lightning Wolves figures.
See,
Yeah.
we've known each other for how many years, and you've never told me that I could get those things.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah.
Slip.
Yeah. You can get the entire set.
I love slippery slopes, and the fact
Uh,
that you hadn't shared that with me.
any one of those figures I just showed you, you can get there.
Well, it's going to be a race for me and everyone
Yeah.
watching this to go max out the available quantities
Yeah,
that they
exactly.
have for those and make them have to go back into production. What do you have coming up? Is there anything you can talk about? Anything you want to talk about?
No. It was just fun to talk to you.
Other than it's the fact that you're just a wonderful person.
Thanks, man. You too.
That just follow everything that Bobby does. Oh, we have a book coming out.
Oh
I
yeah,
should
you
talk
should.
about
That I should talk about too. Yeah, it's called Not All Sheep Are Boring. You can pre-order it now on a computer.
I,
Yeah.
what's the address?
I mean, it's on Amazon. It's everywhere. Look up "Not All Sheep Are Boring" or go to my Instagram. There's a link there. But you know, it's on like Barnes and Noble, Amazon, Target, all
See,
those
now
places.
I feel bad because I didn't know about that book, and I was talking about a different book. But I'm glad that that pulled you out to talk about that book.
Oh, amazing! What book are you talking about?
We also have The Art of DuckTales.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's about to hit, so people can go order both of those
Correct.
at the same time because Bobby is Louis Duck
Yeah.
in DuckTales, and I hid a Louis Duck behind me during this entire record. Can you find Louis?
Gosh. Oh gosh. Oh, I didn't see it. Oh, because that was cute little boy face right there. Also, way too close to Gonzo. I never would have. I got.
I wanted to make it difficult for you. I didn't want it easy.
That figure's amazing. Those Fat Mojo figures are fantastic.
I wish that line was still going.
Yeah.
But you know, who knows? There might be other things on the horizon when
Yes,
it comes
exactly.
to DuckTales. So everyone go follow Bobby on all the social medias. You'll see him on there every 6 to 8 months. He pops up just to prove that he still exists. Usually,
you're exactly right.
usually to promote a fun new thing that you should check out. So go check out Bobby, Bibby Moynihan on all the
That's
things. And thank you for doing this. I really
Thank you so
appreciate
much,
it.
man. Such a pleasure.
So I still haven't worked out a nice, proper, unawkward way to end these things. So
You should just do explosions, like right then, just now. Just do a giant explosion.
we have no
graphic.
post budget for this. So
hold on one second. I'm gonna Google explosion on YouTube, and we'll go out on an explosion. It's just gonna take a minute.
Thank you, Bobby.
No problem. That's how we do it in the biz. You just gotta
show out. This is. I mean, this is why I said you're a professional, and you.
Okay. Wait, I don't know if you can use this. Are you gonna get sued?
Sure.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, that was great. Smoky. Oh, I'm in the explosion. Oh, and yes, now that works too. Bye, everybody.
Bye.